Good morning here, YouTube people. What is going on with you all today? Ha ha. Yeah, I'm here again. Last week was very rainful, I guess you could say. It was a lot of rain. Rained all week. Really was gloomy, and I don't like filming other places or even in my place, whatever. I don't like doing it because it's not a good scene. I wanted to come to you today with a video about, once again, healing. To know that you're healed is people even noticing a big change in your life. Like, people say, boy, you've changed a lot. I can hardly even recognize the way you used to be to how you are now. I just can't even recognize you. You know, facially you probably look the same or whatever. You might look a little older or whatever, but you're definitely a changed person. And I've been told this numerous times by numerous people. You're not the same person that I used to know. And likely so, especially in my case. I knew a lot of people years ago, and now all of a sudden they say, boy, you just have this light and energy and brightness and happiness about you that I never really saw before. And I said, that's probably easy because I never really walked around with it before. I mean, I always had my light, of course, but light in a different sense, you know. It only came out on occasions, you know, and now it's a lot different, and I feel a lot different about it. It's just a miraculous thing for me, and I'm glad to even have it. But, you know, I'm opening this up because I'm going to start my healing of other people, because in order for us to heal 100%, we have to help others seek and learn and also achieve this healing. So I'm going to teach you, I'm going to help you if you need it, but of course you will have to pay a small fee if it comes to me actually having to do something with it, because, you know, in this life nothing comes for free, and I can't live on bread alone. Anyways, it's a really good feeling to even know that I have healed to a greater degree. You know, I can only be thankful to my Father for that, of course, but, you know, all being said, I'm very thankful and grateful for everything that He has given me, even things that I have seen that I didn't really see before. You know, it's just a big opening in my life, and I'm just very happy and excited to be a part of this journey that I am actually on. You know, people, they'll do whatever they can do and be whatever they can be, but nothing really changes until you change. You could look at everybody around you and point fingers and say it was this person's fault, it was that person's fault, blah, blah, blah. And you could play the victim card each and every time. But really, it doesn't look good on your resume as far as your personality is concerned. You could, even your family will start turning on you. You know, you can't tell me that everybody's bad and you're so good and this and that. Because sooner than later, they're going to have those kind of feelings, because none of us are perfect, and we have to own up to our own responsibilities. You constantly pointing the finger and saying, well, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. I can't say that I ever really did that myself. I probably did put the blame on few other people, but I also took my own responsibility, and that's what it's all about. You really have to do that in order to heal. That's the first step in healing, is taking ownership and responsibility for your own actions. You can't always just come out of the box and say, well, this person did this to me, and that person did that to me, and poor me, and woe is me, and blah, 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 blah. Because sooner, like I said, sooner than later, people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to say, well, gee, you must believe that you're an absolutely perfect person. Like, you never do anything wrong in your life? Give me a break. Because there's nobody out here like that. You have to own up for your own responsibilities. I have spoke on this before, and I'm just bringing this up as an example. I'm not trying to dig up old bones in my life and that. But I had opportunity. I wanted to meet somebody that was not in my country. So I took that risk. It was a very big risk for me. And it ended up flopping all over the place. But I took my responsibilities in it. And I don't believe right now that anybody is at fault, because we all had parts in that downfall. And, I accepted that as a test to me, as a lesson to me. And, I cannot change that over. It was a very big lesson for me. I cannot change that day, that time, that moment, that week, that day, that month. I cannot change it. I can only change the future. Whatever happens to me in the coming future, I can hope that I have become a better person through that. So I accepted that as a lesson, and I learned from that, and I have moved on and healed from that situation, where I don't believe that could ever happen to me again, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't really even believe as far as somebody else is concerned, because I don't accept certain things that I used to just go ahead, somebody did me wrong or whatever, and I just kept going towards them as if I didn't want it to end or something. And it's just not for you. If that person shows you that they are not for you, then it's time to just heal from that and progress. Because once you become above that situation, you can then look down upon that situation and say, gee, I don't even know why I got involved with that. It isn't the person. It's the situation that you put yourself in. And anytime we put ourselves in situations that we really don't even belong in and learn from it, then we know what not to do the next time. And so I absolutely said, the next time, it's not going to happen like that. Because the minute it happens and the red flags go up, it's time to talk to that person, see where their mind is at, and then if necessary, move on from that. Move on from that person, move on from that situation, move on from anything that is negative towards you. And it's really easy to figure out once you actually sit down and talk it over. Now, if the person's not willing to talk it over with you, hey, cut your losses then, because you don't want to be in that situation for a long, long time and then realize finally I just wasted 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years, and all for nothing, absolutely nothing. So it's better to just come up out of that and say, look, I made mistakes, that person made mistakes, but nobody is at fault for that. I accept it as a lesson. I have moved on. I left the building, stuck a fork in it. I'm done. It's history. And now it's time to rebuild because I've already healed. But that is the process that we go through. And there's just no other way. If you don't do that, then you'll just remain in that same spot, stuck. It'll be like you stepped in a whole barrel of glue and can't get it off your feet. You'll just be stuck in that position. What did I do? Why did I get there? How did I do this? What happened here? Blah, blah, blah. And then you'll finally come to the realization that you did not carry that responsibility that you had in that manner. You just blamed everybody else instead of blaming yourself and the whole situation in the matter. Okay? It's not about pointing fingers and blah, this person did this and this is why this happened. No, it isn't. And that person actually wrote on their Facebook page, it's all your fault. Well, I knew that it wasn't all my fault, but I had responsibility in that, and I had to take ownership of it. Because that was what caused me to be able to move on. If I didn't take ownership of that and I just kept saying, no, it's not my fault, it's your fault, blah, 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 then I would be back there sometime in time, even though it's been 5.5 years ago now. And, why would I want to do that? I've moved on from there. I have learned from that. And so I had to say and keep saying and get it in my subconscious mind that it was not her fault and it was not my fault. It was just necessary to learn a lesson and go from there. I took responsibility for my part and I left the building. I stuck a fork in it and it was done and it was great. I felt absolutely wonderful from that point on. And that's just something that you have to do. You have to take charge and acceptance of the responsibility that you had, whether it was a relationship, situationship. Like I said, and you can determine that too just by looking at the fruits. It's just like my father said, people, you will know they are a Christian, a follower of me, if they have the fruits. And it's the same thing in a relationship. If there was no fruit on the other side, maybe there was fruit on your side and there wasn't on the other person's side. That means it was a situation. It wasn't a relationship. It was a situationship because that person did not make an effort towards you. I don't believe I ever got any kind of anything from that person. And I gave all of myself. I even said to that person, well, I used to give you money, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that was before. And that's how it was excused, and that was how it was left. You know, that person neither gave me love, neither gave me physical, mental, stability-wise, or anything. She never gave me anything. Oh, well, I gave him sex. You know, I mean, that is an equal thing. Because I also had a part in that. Do you understand? So, you know, it was give and take when it came to that. You know. So what? You also gave every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there the same thing. So what are you trying to make of it? Exactly. So anyway, I just wanted to make that straight. As far as healing's concerned, you can do as you want. You can point at people day in and day out. It was their fault. It was their fault. But sooner than later, your friends, your family, your acquaintances, anybody that knows you will say, well, how come every time you have a relationship, you always blame everybody on what happened? You know, you never take responsibility for nothing. Absolutely nothing. They will start saying that to you. Why? Because it's only right. They're going to think in their head, why is every time something go on with you, you always point the finger at the other person? Well, they were like, well, they did this, well, they did that. It can't always be somebody else. You took part in it. That's like our old saying here. It takes two to tango. It takes two to dance. It takes two to make that effort. So you have to accept your part in it, your responsibility in it. And when you do that, then you can release and then try to heal it up. Don't put a Band-Aid on it. Heal it. A Band-Aid would be like, oh, well, the best way to stop thinking about somebody and doing this and doing that, I'll just get in another relationship. Woo, boo. Because it's just going to turn out to be the same or worse than the one before it. It's absolutely true. You can't just rebound and just get another person and think everything's going to be hunky-dory, because it doesn't happen. You have to heal first. When you heal, you're totally healed. That is when you can make the effort to get back into another relationship. But I wouldn't try to do anything before that, because you're really going to dig a big hole. And you're going to be standing in that hole wondering who's going to throw you the life ladder to get up out of that hole. So you just got to work on that. You got to work on yourself. Then when you think the time is right and you are ready, then talk to somebody. Start talking to somebody. Get to know them. Learn about them. Don't just jump right in the bed with them and and it's over with, and then, what do you have after that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyways, I want you to know that I love you. I love you right there. Love yourself. Love my Father God. And by all means, love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and soul.